Good morning, everyone. Um, Welcome back to another stream. Turn my volume up just a little bit. Supposedly I'm a little quiet when I do this, so there we go. All right. Um, all right. So today I was thinking we would make some geothermal geyser pools in the shallows of our ocean. And it just seemed like something kind of neat to try and play with. So let's start with creating a plane. And we need to figure out our scale for this sucker. I think normally about 100 meter is good for this kind of things I normally build. So let's make this 50, right? So that's 100 meter plane scale. And it should give us lots of room to put some pools and some bubbling and such into this thing. Now I think if you look at geothermal pools in the real world, there's a bunch of different varieties and lots of stuff we could do. Um, I'm thinking I'm going to keep mine fairly flat, um, at least to start with. Let's come in here, and first thing I'm going to do is give us some geometry to play with. And I'm just going to make some edge loops. I don't really want them to be even, because I want a couple big, medium, small type things we can play with. And then 7, let's just make some loops on our own here. And also mess up our geometry a little bit, which I think will help us. Okay, so let's go to 1. And now we have a few starting points for some. I want one here. Let's do one more. And no. Okay. There to there, and K here to here. There we go. So let's select some vertices. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Let's start with 4. And we're using hard ops and our circle. And let's make them bigger. Okay. Now I want to see if I can just take this one and scale it larger. Just want to make some of these a little bit different in size. Let's take this one, scale it a bit smaller. And cool. Let's look at the top. Let's make this one a fair amount smaller. So these can be our 4 big ones right now to start with. Let's now select some other ones. 1, 2, 3. And Q, circle. Let's make them smaller. Okay. And I think I'm gonna want one kind of here-ish. And we don't need to be exact here. I think that actually, ironically, being exact is going to be the enemy of what we want in some senses. We want it to feel a little bit more natural. All right. How are we thinking for that? I think maybe one more over here somewhere. Circle. There we go. Got a big plane here. We can maybe put the camera over here, lead our eye over. I think that'll look good. So now I'm going to come through and just select the center points to all of them. And X, dissolve vertices, just to give us planes. Okay. Looking good. All right. So now let's start making these things bigger. So a couple ways we could do this. I think we'll do it this way first. GZ, I, E, and bring it, I'm gonna take it way down. I want to go below my ground plane. Okay, let's do something similar for here. Let's see. I, GZ, I, GZ. No, let's do E down and scale it in a little bit. Now we don't want to scale like that. We want to scale it around individual origins. Scale it in. And I'll select this one and this one. And E. I don't want this to be quite as high. Those. And scale it. Which does the exact same thing as doing the inset first, but just however you want to do it. And scale it. How do we feel about that as our starting point? It's not too bad. We got one higher up one. I think I want one of these to be a little higher up too. These, even though it's smaller, I want to have more of a lip. Make it like that. Okay. Cool. And now let's save. New 230628. Oh, wow. -1. Live stream. Geyser pools. All righty. So now I think we're going to use our secret weapon and append that auto terrainer that we used the other day to make the cliff. And I've got it brought up already here, but I just went into the blend file to node tree, and I'm just bringing in the two geometry nodes. Because now I come over here, add modifier, geometry nodes, and terrain. And it should think for a minute and give us this ugly looking thing, which is ironically what we want it to be. I think we're not quite hot. Either we need to decrease the bump on our ground or increase our scale Z on the Z-axis. Let's the Z-axis up a bit. Make it a little more obvious. I just said Z. I've clearly been living in Canada too long. Okay. Now we can adjust this, and we might want to. If we come into the geometry nodes, select our boy, terrain, and grab them all. Here's our displacement. I don't care about this at all right now. Let's just get rid of it. So displacement settings, and he's got it divided up into two things, the cliff displacement and the ground displacement. I'm kind of liking my cliff displacement. I feel like my ground strength might be a little too high. Bring it down. That's looking better. It flattens it out a bit more. Maybe even, can we bring our scale to 0.1? Let's see what happens if we make the scale bigger. No, we want the scale smaller, I think, 0.01. That smooths everything down a lot. Maybe bring the strength back up to 3. Yeah, I think 3, and I think we scale, we're going to want to go 0.02. It was at 0.05 to begin with, I think. 2's high now with strength up there. So it's an interplay back and forth. I feel like I'm liking that reasonably well. Can detail go higher? Roughness can go higher though, right? 0.75. Got ground a little less polite. Okay. Alrighty. Not too bad. And I think it auto-applied that desert terrain, but let's look and see, which would be very close to what we want to start with, I think. Yes, yes, it did. And because of the way we brought it in, it didn't bring in the rocks or the plants, which is good because we didn't want those. That's looking kind of cool. And we're doing, look at this, in 10 minutes, we got ourselves, basis of our pools. We're doing good. Now, let's come back. Let's say we're going to go with this for right now. I'm all right with that. So let's Shift A, mesh, and create a plane. And we're going to add a modifier and add the ocean modifier to it. Our depth is going to be 3 meters. It's very shallow. Repeat 3 and 3. Let's just go 4 and 4. It'll take us up past the edge, but that's okay. And 7. Kind of bring it into there. And I'm just laying it up. So that we see it's kind of like that. Do we like that? Maybe we do. Let's see. Want a little higher? That just hides everything but the pools. That's not awful, and we could play with that. Let's just see, S is Z. Can we scale these up a bit more? Or a bit down? Which way do we want to go? I think like that. Okay. And maybe we're going to bring this down just a bit. Which might mean, is this the edge of our ground plane? Yes, it is. I might come in here. Let's turn off geometry nodes just for a sec. Grab our edges. Might have to do, piss off. There we go, there we go. There we go, there we go. Is that all of it? No. Fine, just gonna select my individual ones. I think they're all selected now. All right, 7, Alt E, through the edges, no. Scale, didn't have that one selected. E, S. Why is that one not extruding? Weird. Let's just reselect them. Okay, so now we've got my selection. Strangeness. Okay, 7, Alt Z. Yep, they're all selected. Alt E, extrude edges, scale. There we go. I'll take that to there. Cool. 2, Control R, add some edge loops. And then select our outer edge loop, turn on proportional editing, and GZ. And make it bigger. Okay, there we go. Now that just gave, so now I shouldn't see, now we're not seeing the edge of our base hitting the water. Maybe we can bring our water down a little more. And come back over here and turn back on our distortion. And that might be a little too low. Just play them back and forth. Okay, looks good. At least to start with, looks good. Let's give it a water texture. We may have to play with this too, because I have a feeling we might have a little too much foam in our water texture, the default one I've been using recently. Shaders, mine, ocean. Yep. And I'm gonna get rid of my boat wake. I don't care. No, it's not too bad. And we're seeing water. I actually feel like it's a little dark, which we can also fix. Shading. A lot of this today is going to be material driven, so I want to make sure we get it right because it's going to look better or worse pretty fast based on that. So where are we going? I have two, the top one. We have the, I don't know, let's look and see. My slider, if I slide it this way, no, it's not the noise texture one, it's the, okay, don't even remember what I've done here now. This is, what group is this? Oh, it's the other water one. Right. And this, I don't remember which one it is. Ah! Okay, let's just mix. Here's our mix. Got it. This is what we care about. So we go here, go more and more. So that's 100% the other one. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see from underwater. Just feels too dark right now. And cycles, yeah. Not feeling it super yet. Volume shouldn't matter too much. So that's 100% the top one. And this is 100%. Let's do this one for right now. We'll stay here. We'll come back to it. Okay, save again. So we're building our water, and yeah, I'm just not feeling this water. That's fine. I'm just gonna nuke it all. I don't even think I want necessarily the foam on this one. I want it to be a little stiller. Spawn a material, water. Let's try the pond, just the default pond. I think that might be better for what we're looking for. We can always come back and tweak it, but yeah, let's close this. And GZ. I just want it to be very close to the surface. Yeah, that's looking good. So very much like a tide pool kind of vibe. I think that's, yeah, and we can see ground underneath it, which we want to. I think I'm liking this. Now we need to decide if we want to keep this material on, or a modification of this material on our rocks, or if we want to do something new on our own. I kind of like this material. I do think I want to do a little bit more to it though. So we'll have to actually, so the way geometry nodes work, it doesn't actually use the material assignment here. It's using the auto landscape material, but it assigns it in geometry nodes. But I'm going to assign it here so now I can edit it easier. It doesn't do anything, but it gives us access to the material. So I've actually never really looked at this material. Let's see what we got. Looks like it has multiple sections. Yep, and that's fine because I think we're going to keep it pretty much as it is. The first thing I want to do is make a darker version of it where closer to the water. So let's see, what are our shader options? I'm playing here. I've actually not done a lot with this. I know we have an add shader. Is there a subtract shader? Can I add a negative? Let's see the add shader. What does it look like? It just takes two shaders, brings them together. Okay, right. So if I do, let's just try something. Principled and make it dark and rough, very low roughness. I put that to here. Then we take this one to here. What's it gonna change? Let's see. Makes it all white. I mean, that's kind of neat. Base color. If I take the color all the way down, it doesn't change the color, but it does grab the roughness. Interesting. So we can use this if we want to make it wet, but we'd have to figure out another way to make it darker. That's kind of cool though. That's a neat, because we can control that super simply without having to go and edit their material, which is kind of what I was hoping to do. Our other option is just completely duplicate their material and go tweak it some and then merge it this way. But let's just see if we do this. That adds everywhere too, doesn't it? So well, we do a mix shader, wouldn't we? No. How would we want to do it? Add. Yeah, okay, I see. To a mix. Not a mix node, mix shader. Mix shader. So now we're going to make, put there. And our other shader is going to be the base one. And our factor is going to be an ambient occlusion node. And let's see what we got. And we're going to set our samples to 64 so it gives a bit more range. And our distance, make it bigger. And now, I think, yeah, we're getting that shinier one in the holes. How do I feel about it? I don't know. We can make it more obvious just to see here by going. So that's where our shinier one is going. I don't want it to be that much though. We're seeing it through the water, and that's part of the reason why it's around there like that. And I'm okay with that. I think might actually just do something different though. I don't think we think we'll get a bit more control. We get rid of this, and we come to here. We'll just make a brand new shader for our wet stuff, which is easy enough to do. So it won't exactly match, but that's fine. It doesn't need to. And Control T, Control T, Control Shift T, gives the whole thing. Textures, ground, or earth, what do I call it? Earth, right? That's where my mud goes. And wet mud. Let's just grab that. Albedo, height, normal, roughness. Yep. Cool. I don't need that like that. We're not using it as displacement. Instead, we'll grab a bump map and we'll use our height as a bump up there. And that gives us our mud, wet mud, in those shady areas. I say shady, the ambient occlusion areas. So along there. Yeah. And we can control it a bit better if we had a ramp. Let's do that. And bring up the dark. Maybe increase our distance to back to 1. And now you can see if we look at our mix shader, you can actually see it probably pretty clearly that we're getting that. And we take it out, you get much less. Let's just disconnect this and just see what our mud looks like. Okay. Oh, I know why. I think. Let's change all of these from flat to box. Flat to box, flat to box, flat to box, flat to box. And we'll go to mapping and we'll make it object. There we go. Now we're seeing mud. Right? Yeah. So if I bring it back out, there's our original. And everywhere there's that, it should be muddy. It seems like that is what is happening. Cool. Alrighty. And I want to try one more thing. And this one I'll do it a different way. Still going to do a mix shader. So let's duplicate that. And I don't ever remember which way it goes. NF, I want it on edges. Let's see what this gives us. Yeah, okay, cool. So it's kind of the reverse of that. And I want to increase the scale of it. Not that much though. Increase the edge scale. Cool. Now, I also want a gradient height map. Foot. Grunges. Do I have a gradient? Yes. Grunge gradient that way. This one I want all that. Not quite that much. Like that. So now we have edges. And I want edges, I need to invert this. And the first one is going to be the base. So I want to invert the grunge map. Search invert. Okay, so now that, and we want to then do a multiply. That and that. giving us that. And that is going to be our factor into this mix shader so that we can get some like calcium deposits on the top of these round things. All that for a bit of calcium. Principled, bring it in, and just want to use a white. Let's try, I think maybe like a bone could be kind of cool. Textures, bones. There we go. And we want to make this one also box and object. And that gives us some of that there. I think we want to bring a bit more calcium back into the other stuff as well. It's feeling a little bit too abrupt. So let's do this part here. Let's grab another edges, duplicate it, and let's bring our, how do we want to do it? Distance, that looks okay. Down a little bit. Back up. Let's see what we get, 0.02. Now this one, if we can do a screen, and screen these two together. And now we have some that's continuing down past that. And let's see a distance of 0.01 or 0.03. 0.03, I think. Cool. And we're just playing. No, that's too much. Oh, well, it's because it's not connected. Connect that to that. There we go. Yeah, okay. So now we're getting that like white around the edges and not other places. We might need to bring our water up again a bit more. I'm just going to keep playing with it till I get it where I want it. Something like that. How are we feeling? I think we're feeling pretty good about it. I think if we take this here, we might even want to make it solid later to fix, because that'll make mud underneath it a lot more. Does that make sense? I want my mud a little higher. I think we'll do it a different way. Let's just do that instead of doing it with the AO. To control that, get rid of that, and let's just do another height. Grunge gradient. And which color are we getting it now? We want to rotate Z 180. No, which one is it? X 180. Yeah, okay. Contrast of 1. Scale of 3. Yes, I think. Let's see. I want to make it a little less. Now scale of 0.1. I want to make my gradient a little less. abrupt if we can. It's gonna be mostly the former. Oh, that's looking good. There we go. I think that's what we want. So where it's dark, it's going to be my mud. Where it's light, it's going to be the rock. I think that's looking right. Feels pretty good. I'm not liking this section here, and I think I know how I'm going to fix it. I'm going to cheat. It just feels, you can see that the terrain's tiling a little bit too much there. Although, I mean, I've seen volcanic rock that was kind of like that. Can I take this down a little bit now? And I maybe want to even flatten these waves out just a little bit more. Waves, scale of 0.5. Yeah. And let's just say if we take this up to 25, what do we get? Is it too high? Nope, that feels good. Okay, save. I'm gonna make this 7 again just for speed, and we'll make our render at 25. Alrighty. I'm digging this. We need to make a better sky and shit. That'll help us out. Let's come to here again. Edit. And it's thinking. Okay. So right there, we do want to change this a little bit. So let's just add some loop cuts and 3 and turn on proportional. Let's do this one. So on, yep. GZ. Up or down a little bit. Let's see what we get if we turn it up. That's a weird cut. Might be okay though. Interesting. Now that's cool. It's a strange little inflection point there though. Not crazy about it. The way it's just pinning out from that. I think it's the way my geometry is subdivided. So let's see what we can do if we can fix that a little bit. Let's solo it. And Q or Shift Q, mesh, grid project, Q, mesh, grid project. I don't really even care which way, as long as it goes some way. Cool. That should be better. And let's just do it here too. Grid project. Okay, and turn that back on. See if that's any better. Hi, night boys. Good to see you. Oh, that's much better. A little bit of extra geo there helps a lot, I think. Yeah. We could even do the same on this one if we wanted to. Shift Q, grid project. Sure. And then this one. Yeah, let's just do that too. Shift Q, grid project. That's gonna be a lot more geo. Let's see how it goes. Cool. Well, that's good. I'm liking that better. I think let's look at it with materials on. Well, except it gives it those lines, which we don't like. I like it better there, but not there. Undo, select, back to here. So actually, if I can't, undo one more. Undo one more. Okay, can I just 3x dissolve edges? And 3. Let's see if we can do it this way. Let's dissolve these two as well. X dissolve edges. 3. Well, before I turn it on, let's see if we like it. Before I go playing with it. Is he 8? Where are we at? 40 minutes. We're doing okay. Okay, I think we do want to subdivide it a little bit. Let's use quad slice instead. See if it'll do it. No, grid project. I want to turn it down. I don't want it to be quite so high. Cut 3. That's the one I wanted. Ugh, no. Now we're just gonna leave it alone. Now I've messed it all up. There, you bastard. Okay, solo it. Edit. Turn that off. Okay. Just gonna select the whole thing. A, let's see, and I just Q, operators, clean mesh. That may help us. So the material we can tweak. Turn back on our geometry nodes. Let's see what we get. Yee. I'm really messing shit up. Let's undo all this. I have to do my first grid project. Jumping back a long ways. Thank God for 256 levels of undo. Okay, fine. That is better. We just didn't like that, right? That was our problem. And we're going to turn off that. You know what? Let's solo this sucker. Where are we at? Here. Can I just want to see what happens if we K 7. Too many loops. Too many loops. I'm gonna see 1, and we've got offset turned on, and G, make it bigger, and G make it down, and G make it down. Turn that back on again. Let's see what we got. Still getting a lot on this one. Let's see, K. Just gonna do it one at a time. Try to make it a little bit better. And K. And K. Actually, instead of doing that, let's see, 3 face, poke faces. See if that helps us any. Might, or it's going to make it worse. One of the two. It's going to make it worse. But I think it's detecting all those as edges is the problem. So it's messing with my material, but I like my material, so let's just see what we can do. Just bring it down so it's underwater. When all else fails, hide shit. Yep, when all else fails, hide shit. That's working for me. But this material is now not right. Is it my mud? I think it might be the mud texture. Let's see. This is our, right, here's mud. Scale 0.1. Yes, there we go. It was the mud. All along it was the mud. Good morning, Butterby. Get to watch me screw up my materials the last 10 minutes, but I think I've just about got it back where I want it to be. Yes, that's looking much better. So much so that maybe I'll bring something back up here again. Do we dare? Do we dare? Turn off that. Tab. GZ. On. I just want to have a little bit break in the water if we can. Yeah, I think we can. That's working better now. You saw nothing incriminating. There was no problem. We had nothing. There was nothing. It was all great. Okay, let's see. Did that looking good? I like that now. Yeah, we're getting that kind of across. Let's go ahead edit mode. Come on. Save. That's, yeah, I'm going to live with that because I think we're going to just look at it from a different angle. All right. Yeah, save. Let's go back to our layout. I think it's time we put a person in here so we can kind of see how big we're looking at for this stuff, because like I don't super care for the purposes of most of this, but I'm gonna do one other thing too before I do that. I am happy with my geometry node geysers, so I'm not going to tweak them anymore. So I'm going to apply this terrain. Okay, so now my terrain is an actual just straight up terrain object that I can tweak. And in this case, how big is it? If we solo it, it's pretty big. I'm going to smooth it down just a little bit. Smooth and repeat like 4 times. Yeah, let's see. We'll look at last 3, 4. I like 4. Cool. And we won't apply it yet just to make sure, but okay, cool. So we're getting our geyser holes. And I like our caked calcium deposits there on the top. I feel like that's working well for me. I'm going to change maybe the text, since I did it on the other one, let's make sure that I'm scale correctly on my bone. That's this one. And scale it to like 0.1. Just to look at it more, see if we're getting detail. Yes, we are. Cool. And roughness is good, but when all else fails, let's try to add a little more interest. We can do that. Roughness and Shift A, search noise, grab a noise texture, dump that into normal, add a bump. Yeah, kind of a bump into the height. Okay. There we go. Smell the quality. Okay. Right. So now we're going to put a person. That's where we're getting to. Click here, add a dude. This is pretty big. Like this is 100 meters. Yeah. So those are big, which is cool. It may even be too big. I think I might shrink it down a little bit. I think everything might be. If I do, I need to make sure I don't reapply the scale because otherwise it's going to make my life hell. Let's just see what it's like. Let's shrink it to the cursor. So it's a little smaller. Yeah, okay. That works. Eh. Alrighty. Save. So starting to get to where we have our scene lining up properly, and we're only 51 minutes in, right? Material tweaking takes forever sometimes just to get it where you want it to be, but I actually really like that. That's looking good. We need to add a sky, we need to add some steam, and we're probably going to add like an observation tower, just so we have a little bit of human element in it as well. Let's give ourselves at least an initial sky, even if we just do it at 1K for right now and change it later. I think I'm going to load my own. Import jar images, sky, and we're just going to go mud road, just sky. Because I don't have to worry about it then. Yes, it feels dank. And I like it. Exposure, -1, darker. And then we'll bring back in a sun, I think. Light, sun. And let's still very much open because I'm not sure what our composition is going to be, but just to lay in something, that, and let's make it 5 so we can see it. That's obviously too bright for where we want to be, but just so I could see what we're working on. And angle down a little more. And like that, yeah, maybe that. And let's set our color to 8500 Kelvin. It's a nice blue. And maybe I'll bring our exposure back up, -0.5 instead. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're starting to think about composition. We're starting to think about colors. We need to think about some steam coming up out of these things. So we could do steam a number of different ways. The most authentic way would be to use VDB files and put volumetrics in there for all of them. It's going to be a freaking nightmare and it's going to take a ton of resources. The next option is we use alpha planes. Let's try that first. So we're going to go with images planes. We want, let me make it so I can see the thing. We want to track camera. I don't think we want it to emit. We're just going to go with principled, I think, on this one. We're going to tweak it anyway. And textures, where are my steam elements? Did I leave them in? There's smoke. What do we got in smoke? Nope, smoke is not what we want. We got him at Ian's. Ian Hubert, God rest him, he's amazing. Gave us a whole bunch of steam elements in his Patreon that we're going to use. And this one, I think, will be perfect. And they're actually, it's neat, they're movies, so you can adjust the frame on them, the start frame, and get a different steam from the same. Scale it up more. And we're going to need to go edit the shading. And let's set our alpha to be that. Woohoo! We have steam. We could make it glow or some shit to make it brighter. It is not as realistic. Sometimes it looks better, but let's leave it like this for right now. It's a quinfet steam. And then we're going to just duplicate it. Well, first we're going to make a new collection steam. And now we're going to duplicate this. Shift D, or yeah, Shift D here, and G. And we're going to want to change our number so it's 1, because I want to change the start frame to like just something else, so we have a different steam. And 7, and let's just line that one up. So T gives us where we have to go, and individual origins, yes. And we're fortunate, like I said, we've set it up so that it should always point towards the camera, which if we do a top-down shot is going to make life annoying, but for right now, I think we'll keep it. And Shift D, G, scale it in, and make another one. And the start frame is going to be 55. So can we see all 3 of those? That one's even out of our frame. Let's just bring it back to here, to this one. Now, scale. They should, yep. So now let's look at it. Cool. Let's bring it down a little bit. Over. And one more on that sucker. So Shift D, 7, and to this one, right? And again, another new number, and start frame is going to be 100. Sure, I don't care. Just so it's different. Let's just narrow it up a little bit, just to tweak it a bit. Okay. Cool. So we got that going. Let's see what else what more trouble we can get into. First we need to do is adjust our camera, because we might need more. We will probably need more because this isn't wide enough. Photo, camera, looks at 65. Lens, I love my anamorphics. Resolution, widescreen. Yes, see, we're gonna need a few more if we don't do that. It's gonna make it go higher. Just tweaking it a bit. Okay. And grab it again. Let's see, 0. We're gonna go to this one. Shift D. Local SX. Make it wider. 0. And sure. Let's go back into shading. And give it a new one. And start frame of 22. And Shift D. This guy. 7. Yeah, see, it's nowhere near that far back. It's here. It just seems far back. Jeez. Oh, don't do that. Not local. Global. GC. We'll make a new one again. Start frame 3. Okay. That's given us something. I don't know how I feel about it yet, though. Something's not reading the way I want it to just yet. Layout. Let's see what we can do. First thing I want to try is my sun. What happens instead of 8,500, we go 4,500? Yes, I think we do want it warm, not cool. I think that helps. Narrow it down. I'm just trying to make these a bit more interesting. Because right now it's not quite working for me. It's close, but it's not quite working for me. That's better. I do like this ground terrain, though. I think that turned out well. When you're not sure what you're doing wrong, focus on the things you're doing right, you know? I like this. I actually like this composition quite a bit. I like this foreground element here. Like we have our things there. I think we need something more in the background. Right now we have a lot of, excuse me, foreground and middle ground, but no background. And I'm going to try something, which is just going to be creating a new plane, mesh plane. And scale it. Okay, let's just scale it for reals. Scale it. SY. Cool. Tab to E, Control R, G, 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 and G. Okay, now let's see what happens if we turn on our geometry node and pick terrain. Cool. We need to extend our depth of our frame because it's getting cut off. Do that in camera. Clip end 200. That's looking better. Don't really want it to go over though. Like that. I'm liking that. I feel like that works for us. And I actually like our material on it. So Control A, rotation scale. Let's see. Yep, I still like our material on it. Kind of feels like now maybe we're more in like a bay. Did I make that terrain node? No, I found that one for free. That's a auto terrainer it's on Gumroad. Let me see if I can find the link for you and I'll put it up there real quick. There's tons of what you call it, YouTube videos on it recently. There it goes. Yep, here it is. I'll just put it in the comments or in the send. There's a free version and a paid version, but yeah, we could tweak if we want to put wind. So we could add a little bit of that to, yeah, that'd be fun to try. Let's try that with this one. Solo it, tab 2, Control R, add some edge loops, and G. Just grab both of these. G. Let's see if that does anything for us. It does give it a bit more whimsy. A wee bit of whimsy. It is amazing. I bought the $5 version and I love it. It's cool. It also comes with sort of an auto generating terrain thing for grass and rocks, but I tend to prefer using geoscatter just because I have it, but that might be a little bit too much. Let's narrow it back down a bit. There we go. But I think with the background, it helps too. You kind of lose a lot of the fog. Yeah, he's pretty funny with the comments. With testimonials like that, what else? What could go wrong, right? Yes. Okay, my mom. That definitely sounds like a mom kind of comment. No, I thought it was funny, but yeah, it's really helpful. I like it a lot. I've used it a couple of times now, and you know, worthwhile. Okay, so there we go. Now I think having that far background really helps us a bunch. Maybe where are we at? 108. Cool, we're doing good. Let's put a simple structure up here, like up there, like up there. Let's give it some kind of a something. I live on Geoscatter, but I've literally built a PC to do this stuff. So, yeah, Geoscatter is my bestest friend in the world for this sort of thing. Let's get this thing going. Okay. And I'm going to edit it now. Well, first off, rotation scale, edit. GZ, turn off that. Proportional editing. I want to take those and bevel them. 3, and I want to scale that in. Okay. Yep. Then I want to That was the best way to do this. Select that, this, and Q, dice with dice. Z, not X. And how many cuts? 10 cuts. Okay. Ugh, grabbed it all. Damn it, I don't want it on these. Yeah, we bastard. See. 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 X, dissolve edges. Okay, yes, that's better. That's how I want it. Now, 3, let's try one more thing. We're just playing here. I don't know. Will it work? Let's see. Face, unsub. Where is it? Is it edge? Yeah, unsubdivide. No. Let's inset. Let's do it this way. No. Now we'll just leave it like it is. Fine, I'm getting lazy. And let's Q, modifier, wireframe. Okay, there's our tower structure. And I'm gonna turn off our steam so I can see it. Yeah, that didn't work. I was trying to make it have some cross beams, and I know how to do it, but it's gonna take a long time, and I don't care that much. So I'm gonna go to the lazy route and just have it be straight instead of having diagonal cross sections. Because yeah, I'm lazy. Let's duplicate it and kill that. Cool. So I get this and Control I and delete all the rest of it. Delete faces. Keep our base face. Cool. E 2.8. Okay. Now, how do I want to do this? E scale. E and I. Get a lip. Face. Poke to face. 1 GZ. One very silly looking tower right there. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on it, but it is definitely just a background thing. So I don't care too much. Like, I don't want it to be that important to our scene. I might even make it a little less. But it'll work. And 3, just like that. And tab, shift Q. Loop extrude. 1, 2, 3. Not from source. Depth 0.5. It might be too much. 0.25. Yeah. 0.25. 0.125. 0.06. Just cause. Cuts. Add some more. Oh, I'm not. I mean, thank you. I appreciate it. I like my tools and I know what I'm doing, but it's just like with anything else, right? The biggest thing is kind of having an idea what you want to do, and if you have that, it gets easier. If you don't know what you want to do with it, it can be quite a pain. And I get into trouble with that sometimes too, which I'm kind of feeling with this building a little bit, is I hadn't really given it a lot of thought if I was going to put a building or not into it, and um, that's okay. Sure, we're just going to live with it. And here we want I'm not even going to worry about the door. So my conceit is that the door's on the far side and we can't see it. It is strictly a conceit, but we're going with it. Plate insets, seed. Let's see what we get. You want to subdivide one more? Okay. Yep. Sure. And then we're going to come here and grab this face. Shift Q. Cables. Get some cables hanging down from it now. Why? I don't know. Why not? We'll make our radius a bit bigger so we can see them. So it's got an inch radius now. We're just trying to add some interest to it. So it's like, there's a tower. You know, if we turn it back on. And I might, like I said, I might even push it back behind the cliff. That's kind of where I'm leaning now. But let's grab a material. Where are we at for time? 116. Okay, we're doing good. Shade is mine or Guppy. Let's try Guppy today. Grunge metal. Grunge metal. I think there's just, oh, these are all separate, aren't they? Yeah. Join. And add join to that too. Yep. Ooh, yeah. We don't want that light. Those lights are just not what we're looking for. So shading. There we go. I make enough stuff that I know my tools, and that helps. Like I kind of know what I have access to play with, and that's pretty important. I'll make this whole thing one object, but we still need to give material to that. Just rubber. We don't need to worry about dirt too much because it's so far away we're not even going to see it anyway. Rubber, add material. Q, convert to mesh. Apply that. Then we got one tower. And GX. See where we're at. I like it better here more. I don't want it right behind that steam though. I think it's gonna be annoying. Well, maybe. I'm just not loving that yet. GX. GY. Okay, something like that. If we're gonna go that far back, we're gonna need something in the foreground too. Another man-made thing. Bring that up a bit. And steam, I just want to make it so I can't select any of it. I want to be able to see it, but I don't want it getting in my way. There we go. Okay. So what we could do, and I think it would be cool, is the other day we made the egg. Let us reselect. Let us reuse the egg. And pre-plaza, so I have to just grab it. Open up. Shoreline. I'm a huge believer in reusing stuff in your same world building project because people use the same things over and over again. So if we had some kind of a weird egg object doing as a sensor in the shoreline, there is absolutely no reason that we should not be able to have same egg object. Can we join them together? It's gonna freak. Yeah, looks like it's okay. Copy object, paste object, 7. In the scene. Because people are lazy and use the same stuff over and over again whenever we can get away with it in real life. And I might put it over here. If we do, because the dude's not going to be there. He's just kind of bullshit. I think we're going to move our hut. There we go. G Shift X to like here maybe. Let's see. And even, ooh, what if we had multiples of them? Yes. Make sure it's back behind. It is. Okay. So now we have these. Let's move this one over a bit. So they're just a bit more even. In this case, I think we will have that row of towers. And then we've got this in the foreground. That's looking cool. All right, let's get rid of this dude because he's now in my way. And save. And for story purposes, because I know we have an easy dude to do this with, if we were to go to big, medium, small, industrial characters posed, and grab one of these dudes here, welding, standing, sitting. Let's try standing. Bring him here. It never hurts to have a person doing something in a scene. It doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be bespoke every time. Like the scene's not about this guy. It's just going to look better if the dude's here. Which, I mean, will make it, as far as the audience is concerned, about this guy. Yeah, we're going to have to do like that. Can we just fake it then? Yes. I just want to make sure that it GZ. Okay. And just gonna. I try to make things real as much as possible, since like I don't really like it when his feet stick into the ground like that. It just kind of messes with me personally. But there's no reason. Like it doesn't matter. And we're gonna just have to edit it around, aren't we? Yep. All right. But it's just straight ground now, so that's easy. It's not like before. So if we just go to, let's close this first, get more room. Sculpt mode and elastic deform. And just bring it up slightly so this thing can sit on something. Again, so you can see it. Let's bring that. So see, because I can, I might as well just make it so that it actually works. There we go. And now he's kind of actually standing. I want to smooth this a bit though. I'm going to actually apply that smooth. And now see if I can, there we go. That's too much. Strength on or smooth, or smooth. Flatten, smooth. Strength way down. There we go. Just tap it in a few places, make it better. Feel the quality. Eggy. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. This has that. I don't know what, there's not actually a real term for it, but I always call this like the Mr. Robot composition. If you guys ever watched that show, and it was fantastic, and you should, um, they were famous for putting characters on the edge of screens. Come on, move. Why do you not want to move? It's bizarre. Why is my shift key not working? Come on, Blender. File, save. Okay. Shading. 0. Layout. It's not letting me move things. Why? Bizarre. All right, well, whatever. We'll probably just save and we start Blender in a minute. Because we're just about to the end. And we're looking pretty good, I think. I like where he's going. Photo. Yeah, I understand. I'm not a huge watcher either, but from a cinematography perspective, it's really worth looking at. It does some really cool things. It'll like put characters like up here in this corner looking out of the frame and shit like that, which like is no one does. It's just, it's the rule of thirds and they look in everywhere all the time. Oh, it's the golden mean and they look in. And this he'll put like again your character's head right down here looking off screen. And then it'll just be like a wall and a clock or something, and it should never work, but it does, and it's cool. Um, so camera, there we go, save. So that's what we're looking at right now. I like our little geysers. I think they turned out well. Actually, like that was the sort of the whole, you know, shots like this. It's like, ooh, I wonder if I can make a geyser, and then I just have to make a whole scene around it. Um, but I wanted to try and play with the materials to get the calcium deposits on the top, and I think that worked really well. Just kind of given my now that I'm getting near the end. There we go. Now it's letting me move. My analysis of where I'm at. I think that's pretty damn cool. We could try a little bit of fog to push things apart from each other, but I don't think we want much. Yeah, it's the opposite of Wes Anderson, except that he still also likes verticals a whole bunch. Like Wes Anderson is just crazy in love with 90-degree angles, and it's kind of insane also and cool. Um, I don't remember who the cinematographer was for Mr. Robot, but yeah, he just likes corners. I say he, might be a she. I should just say they instead. Um, I try to avoid he. I'm definitely Gen X, and I have some words stuck in my brain that I find hard to not use, and I should not use them. Everyone should not be a he. I'm pretty strong about that, but it's just kind of becomes it's just vocabulary from a year, 48 years of background. Um, where am I? No, GX. There we go. 0. Oh, let's bring it so it's outside the camera. Okay, GY. Just going to try putting a little bit of fog in just to see what it gives us. The edges off camera. Okay, so our whole box is now there. Control A, rotation and scale. M, new collection, fog. Oh, see, I didn't like Love, Death, and Robots at all. I thought it was pretty, kinda, in that like I'm edgy and want to show boobs kind of way for most of it. Some of it was neat. Um, but it's very self-referential to the genre as much as it's like it doesn't do anything new. It's just like, oh, let's do the same stuff everyone's been doing, but with more boobs and more violence. Um, some of them are okay, but a lot of the storytelling, didn't work for me. I mean, teach their own. Um, and like if you want to watch s- actually the comedy ones were the funniest. The ones written by John Scalzi were actually pretty good. The cat one the cat robot one is funny as hell. Um, but the like more serious ones, they just felt like bad short stories. It was like watching the old heavy metal movie, only worse. Eh. I mean, lots of people loved it, but lots of people love boobs and shit blowing up, and I am I don't know, I mean, that makes it sound like I hate that stuff. I don't. I mean, I've just literally seen it my entire life. So, like, you give me good story plus boobs and shit blowing up, and I'm like, oh, all right, that was cool. But just boobs and stuff, yeah, it's fine. Um, I think in both seasons there were like between the two of them, maybe three of the short stories I kind of liked. Again, the Scalzi robot one is hysterical. Um, the the one that was it Nolan who did the ocean one and the second one, that was pretty good. Not volume info. Anyway, I don't want to bag on other people's projects either, too, because it's hard telling stories, man. It's getting shit past anybody. It's just tough. So, like, even if it didn't work necessarily for me, that doesn't mean it's whatever. Somebody liked it. Somebody had a lot of fun working on it. Somebody got paid to work on it, which is great. Um, that's all right. Well, then you might like it. Like, give it a shot. Some of them are like, I mean, and like some of them are real pretty. The one with the Hugh Jackman looking character from the first season, that's real pretty. I mean, I could watch it with the volume turned down just to be like, ooh, that's a neat looking thing. Yeah. Mr. Robot, on the other hand, is interesting, has a cool story, is well shot, and sticks the landing reasonably well. So, like a lot of those live action shows, the last episodes kind of sucks, but I felt like Mr. Robot really, really did well on it. Yeah, see, there's somebody and me liked both of them. That's cool. Like I get annoyed people like it sucks. You shouldn't watch it. It wasn't. It bored me, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't watch it. Anyway, yeah, I like this level of fog. I think this sort of helps separate things out a little bit more. I don't think we want more than that, but just a slightest little bit of fog. And I always try to do it until it's too low. Like that, I think is just a little too low. But I think 0.002 is awesome. Um, yeah, cool. All right. Well, we've hit our 93 minutes. I think this is pretty much what I wanted to get out of this one. So, thanks everybody for hanging out and talking with me. Listening to me ramble. Not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow yet. I think we'll probably. I've got a couple ideas. I want to start do. I want to do an underwater scene this week, so it'll be tomorrow or Friday. I think that might be the next one. Um, just gonna kind of think about it a little bit. Yeah. Um, but anyway, thanks again. If you're watching this later and you like it, please like and subscribe. If you're watching it now, just like and subscribe already, right? You've already done that. Um, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Okay. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.